Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the second podcast that we're holding here with the Digital Cloud Solutions and Intact, and a special guest we have from Florida State University. The first podcast, which we'll be doing weekly now, and it's all around the no-code, low-code phenomena, which we'll talk about, zeroing in weekly on different topics that support this so that you, Mr. Executive and IT Director, understand what we're talking about when we're bridging the gap between business and IT and why it's important to you. So let me introduce our guests. First, Chet Hall, who's the CEO of Intact Global, which many of you in the Microsoft would know from the Gold Partner certifications, and our industry analyst for the food industry, Tom D'Alfonso, president of Agmine, who's also a technical development software company and now focused on spreading industry expertise to executives throughout the industry. Myself, Edward Harif, CEO of Digital Cloud Solutions, where we're introducing guest speakers and technology that support the entire no-code, low-code citizens developer centers of excellence that are supporting this concept of bridging the gap between the business functions of a corporation and their IT department. And our special guest today, I'm very pleased to welcome from Florida State, Lance Kerwin, and I'll turn it over to Lance.
Edward, thank you so much. And Tom and Chet, really appreciate the opportunity to come into your conversation here. This is a very exciting topic of bridging the gap from business functions to those IT departments. And I'm excited to share what we're doing at Florida State, from preparing the next workforce that's going to come in to solve these problems in the business world, to what we have to offer of our collective experience of building systems over the last, it sounds like it might be 3 decades. So that's great. We should be proud of that. Doesn't mean we're old. It just means that we've seen a lot of stuff go wrong. That's what that means at the end of the day. So I'm at Florida State. I'm in the College of Business. I teach business analytics and systems design. I'm in my 5th year here. Enjoy it, and I really love it a lot. And some of the things that I get to do in the course, which I'll talk about on the next slide, I'll save for that. We look at methodologies on how to build software, and on the left-hand corner there you see LAD, so live application design and development. It's a hyper agile process. What does that mean? It means that we need to be able to take a business requirement and put it into the solution honestly in that business day. It's a standard that was set probably in the late 00s. It scared the heck out of me when I was getting my master's in MIS, to now I've seen it, and it's in some companies are doing it better than others. In the low code, no code, and what you're going to learn about in this conversation today, we are changing the way that we're doing systems, while at the same time going on this journey of getting the workplace ready. And it's going to be another 3 to 5 years casting out in the future. We're on this journey right now. So you're coming in at a good time to hear some of the hot topics and where we think the industry is going from many perspectives. And you see the 2 classes that just came up is the business analytics and the systems analysis and design. I'm restructuring the systems analysis and design to go from the standard SDLC, systems development lifecycle, which is the methodology that most people in our field are accustomed to, building mainframes back in the 70s and 80s. IBM brought that methodology in, and it was necessary at that time. Client server came in the 90s when I was coming out of school, and then we got to web applications. And all that means at the end of the day is that when you sit with the business community, the IT departments have come 30 years ago. They were in a position to basically help build the infrastructure, build the systems, to now they're in the way. Think about 100 years ago. I'm in Tallahassee, Florida. The conversation we might have is, are you going to go get an automobile? And I'm like, why do I need an automobile? We didn't have highways to Jacksonville and San Diego and up to Atlanta. That infrastructure wasn't there. In IT, we've lived that the last 30 years. We have standards in place. How do we get better at what we do? Low code, no code offers that transformation in that the better way, the new way of implementing systems moving forward.
Lance, hi, this is Tom. I'm really excited about the curriculum that you have to address this challenge. As you said, in the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see this infrastructure really allowing people from various backgrounds to come together and solve business problems regarding information technology. Those people solving those problems, building technology products, are not technology professionals. Forbes and Gartner are saying that by 2024, 80% of technology products will be developed by non-IT people. I think this is very exciting. I like it when people from various backgrounds get together and you have a business person and an IT person putting together tools, but the system can be slow without a good infrastructure. And now that that infrastructure is there, how do you teach that? How do you teach the utilization of these tools that we have and the ability of people to come together from disparate backgrounds and solve business problems?
It's a great question, and that Gartner, that 80% might even be low. I mean, I see it in some. I'm still on the field a little bit here and there, and I see a constant struggle between business community and IT community, because the business community, they have what they need to build their systems, to manage their data, manage their process, but the IT, we've taken them to this journey. But what we need to do now is, they know how to fish. They know how to go into the business ecosystem and buy technology and implement it. And the struggle is, oh, I have to know about that. I have governance in place that says I need to know the IT. So I'm trying to change that through my course to get MIS students who, it's more about being business savvy, understanding the people, process, technology, and getting them ready to solve the problems differently. Now you're going to be talking to a potential business person that actually knows how to build a form through a low-code, no-code without even programming. And they're going to be able to access their data. And then what value am I going to bring in as far as how do you go about doing a design and testing and making sure that what you ultimately implement is secure, is able to produce the data and information that you expect. So the benefits to the students, and we start with SDLC, but we move towards that hyper agile, that LAD process of, you're going to have a conversation. We're going to give you a tool where you're capturing a requirement. 30 years ago, we'd have to take that requirement, and it would take us months, sometimes years, to do the database design and the user interface. Now, with this new way of building systems, I can have a conversation, gather what I think your requirement is, and my forms and database is available for me now for you to tell me, what did I miss? And then we iterate on top of that. Quality goes up, faster to market. It's really exciting time. So the students that I'm teaching and putting into the workplace they know that this is happening. I tell them though, but when you go into this business ecosystem, you're going to run across people that have 10, 20, 30 plus years experience, and they just haven't had a chance to think that way. They're still going to be in that struggle. So I try to position them to be able to take a project that gives them actually real world experience and apply it to real world experience. And it will allow them to provide value right away. Hey, I heard about this thing, low code, no code. They might be met with resistance, but but if they know how to tell the story, now if somebody is really open to doing something different, they may say, you know what, I'm tired of battling with the business unit. In fact, the business world doesn't even, as a CIO, doesn't even value what I do. But if we change our thinking and move to low code, no code, I can take all my experiences of the last 20 to 30 years, and now I can add that into the low code, no code environment. So what you see is we splashed up 7 different points. So the first one, just real quickly, promotes total ownership of people, process, and technology. I tell my students, I want you focused on people, process. Be technology agnostic. Technology comes and goes. I want you focused on how people use information to make decisions, and we capture that in business process. Now you bring the technology to the table, low code, no code, and now you're partners. Now you're collaborating. Now you're building community, which leads to point number 3. It cultivates diverse communication and ideas, and it also provides for the ability to develop and own the business application requirements back to the business. Now you become a coach. You don't own it anymore. They own it. You're there to help them, which is really what we've all been wanting to do that have been in this field, is we just want to help. And now we're at a point in time that if we don't change the way that we work, we're going to be seen as a hindrance. And guess what? That 80% number that Gartner talked about, it's going to get close to 100% because people are going to bypass us. We're not going to be invited to the table. We might not even be at the kids' table. And so we want to stay at the adult table in these conversations moving forward. Number 5 is the hyper accelerates ideas to apps that's where the hyper agile comes in. And we're not going to go into that too much here, other than to say I hope that we can have future conversations about where that term is going and how I'm using this course to help to promote that and promote the practices that are necessary in order to make hyper acceleration work.
So thank you, Lance. So you brought up 7 strategic points, and a lot to you guys, the executives, the CXOs of the company, and the IT group. Lance talked to a lot of topics that you've heard over the years, and in all fairness, was very complicated because you'd have these long enterprise implementations that the technology was fantastic. However, it took high skilled programmers to do this who didn't know the people, processes, and what the company actually needed. So taking people off your payroll and teaching them how to do that, well, that's the way it was. And the key point here is that that's changed. And that's what this citizens development, no code, taking control of the application development and keeping it internal is all about. We can't get to all of it today. But again, bridging the gap between you, the executives, and the IT department is what this is all about, and making that a quick transition. And what Florida State and Lance are doing is preparing these students to walk into a corporation and get to know the processes and how your food or feed company or finance company actually operates, so that they can bridge the gap by being able to create applications internally and control them. When we look at the results, they're already there. So that's the great part about what we're talking about is this is not game-changing software with strategic initiatives that could come in the next 3 years. We can look to exactly the results that are in place with very, very big corporations and very secure industries that require lots of checks and balances. And you can look at the results in numbers and see that it's a lot quicker than what we're used to, which was, we've been used to the 6 months, the 12 months list of projects that IT just can't get to. And the cost is just astronomically smaller.
I'll add to that. So I'm going to take, just to simplify this conversation, business world, operations in your industry and decision making.